You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof of your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. First timer on Ron Siegel Radio, Jeff Clark, Trident Inspection Group. Welcome.
Good morning, Ron. How are you today?
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today National Hand Roll Day. Are you into sushi? Do you like sushi? I'm not into the hand rolls as much. Sashimi, if you please, but it is National Hand Roll Day, so I don't know. Maybe we'll go get a hand roll. And then, obviously, it's National Fried Chicken Day. No, I'm not talking about the Colonel here. Well, I guess some people like the Colonel. I've got friends that like the Colonel. But I'm really more into, okay, I'll spill the beans, the Crack Shack. Anybody, you heard of the Crack Shack? You ever been to the Crack Shack? They've got all kinds of real good chicken over there, fried chicken. Grilled chicken, fire chicken. I'm not the real spicy one. That's not for me. The bride likes that stuff. They make a great French fry, though. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm drooling right now. Let's take a look and see. I guess we can solve that problem. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 441 points. Ow! S&P 500 is down 49. The NASDAQ is down 170. Oil's off 68 cents a barrel. Why? What's driving all of this? Well, we got an ADP report today, and it says they only missed, the economists, the brain doctors, they only missed their numbers by double. So they anticipated that we were going to get 230,000 new jobs. We got 470,000 new jobs. We'll get more into that in the Mortgage Minute, but that's the economists for you. If they knew what they were doing, well, they'd probably be doing it. They wouldn't be doing economics. What other job, other than being a baseball player, can you get things right, once every 4 times and still be employed? Well, we know it's not going to be Jay Powell. Yeah, I know. So 80% chance they're going to raise rates again later this month. 80% chance. Well, with us getting this new jobs report, I guess the pain is not getting significant enough. Interest rates going up, the cost of everything else going up, wages not going up. Gasoline now in California, $4.84 a gallon. That's the average for the state, $4.84. At least we're not as bad as Washington at $4.97. But if you go to America, well, that might be a Louisiana, $3.08, Florida, $3.35. Idaho, $3.94. Interesting how even the high price states are $1 less than we are in California. And oh yeah, we get to increase the taxes here in California. Did you notice they increased our taxes another 3 cents on gasoline the 1st of July? They didn't think you would notice because you were out there enjoying the 4th of July weekend, the long weekend. But we noticed, we're watching. So now I think we're at $1.12 in taxes and fees per gallon of gasoline here in the formerly Golden State. Unbelievable. But hey, let's keep voting for the same people that we've been voting for. Yeah. Stop that as well. Right? I mean, they're going to like they'll change eventually. Yeah. That's why I refer to us as Calizuela nowadays, because we're not gonna change. We're gonna keep on voting for these same people to see if they can keep controlling our lives. Speaking of controlling our lives, did you hear the latest out of the White House? Yeah. Well, they've already been discovered that they've been suppressing free speech. They have not wanted people, the contrary opinions, to go out on social channels. And even though the judge told them that they've got to stop this influence, the press secretary said they're going to still do it. Does that surprise anybody that the White House does not follow, the Biden administration does not follow the law?
Surprise.
Yeah, no, they continue to do things their own way. Unbelievable, but we're living it. Their elections have consequences. One thing that President Obama said that I agree with. Yes, elections do have consequences. It's only taken 2 years, and are we feeling those consequences now? I think gas was under $2 a gallon before this administration. But hey, it's down from $6.80, so the president's taking a victory lap on that. Unbelievable. Hey, did you check this one out in the news? I saw this morning. Yes, I have no life, so I start very early in the morning. McDonald's. Now, I will admit that when my son got married last year, we did get an order of McDonald's, but that was for the after party. McDonald's now is launching a wedding package. Are you ready for this one? This would be my speed too, because I'm cheap. Go to McDonald's and get your wedding meal from McDonald's. Although you do have to travel just a little bit, because so far they're doing the test marketing is in India. So we're not getting all of that here. But 100 packs of 4-piece chicken nuggets. I guess they came out with this on Fried Chicken Day. $200 for the wedding package for McDonald's. I wonder, Josh, do you think they're going to serve that at the Elvis Chapel? That would go pretty good there, right? Now, I'll probably get in trouble with that one too. The Elvis Chapel and Las Vegas and fried chicken. It's Fried Chicken Day, so don't get mad at me. I guess we better move right along before I get in even more hot water here. Maybe they could just call me Ben or Jerry. Right? Did you hear those two lunatics once again out there talking about how that we've taken our land, or all of our land has been taken from the Native Americans, but they didn't mention that those loons, that their land where they made their ice cream there in Vermont was Indian land. I wonder if they paid reparations out of the $360 million that they sold the company for. Yeah, I doubt it. It's typical of people like Ben and Jerry, lunatics, that, you should give, but they don't. So should we tell you how much they gave out of that $360 million they sold the company for? Would it surprise anybody to know that less than 7% was given to charity? Now, they want you to give all your money. They're communists. They've admitted it. So they want everything to go for the government to control everything except their money. I bet they put their money offshore. Do you think that would be the case? Just my opinion. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to learn. Yes, Tony, good to see you here. Tony's with us this morning, watching us.
Good morning, Tony.
So we're gonna chat. We're gonna learn a little bit about home inspections. What do you need to know? Everything you need to know. Well, we're gonna get to some of it. I don't know if we'll get to everything, but we're gonna learn about it. Today's housing inventory is a sweet spot for sellers. How to rate, shop, and minimize the impact to your FICO scores. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and Connection.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates. They do not tell us APR, points paid, points received. They're locked rates with consumers across 42% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. And this is the one time you don't want to see green on the screen because every one of the rates were up yesterday. And I'll tell you, based on where we are right now, every one of the rates will be up again tomorrow. But 30-year conforming, 6.916. 30-year jumbo, 7.18. FHA, 6.77. USDA, that's for the rural areas generally, no down payment, 6.803. And the best loan on the market for those that earned it. Don't get to just apply for this one. You have to earn it. This is the 30-year VA loan, 6.619. Let's get local, or let's get a little more current, because those are all as of yesterday. Let's see what we can talk about today. 10-year Treasury, 4.065. That's up 14 basis points. S&P 500, that's down 50.62. And the 10-year and the mortgage-backed securities, that one's down 92 basis points. That's massive. Ow! That means interest rates are way up. We got an avalanche today of unfriendly bond information. Let's start at the top. Fed minutes came out yesterday. We knew that those are generally bad news for the markets anymore. But the Federal Reserve, they're on this. They're on it.
Such an idiot.
Yeah. Don't say that about those guys. They've devoted their whole life to No, they haven't. All they do is work for the Fed. On the government dole, and they never sign the front of a paycheck. They keep getting their checks. They don't have to worry about some of the numbers I'm going to tell you in just a minute. But there's all but two of them want to keep on raising rates. The other two just say, well, let's see what's going on. Going to probably get to 5.5 to 5.75 is what their rate will be by the end of this month. Unbelievable. That acknowledged something we have been talking about. While GDP has been showing more strength than expected, gross domestic income has been negative for 2 consecutive quarters. Most suggested that the economic momentum may not be as strong as indicated by GDP readings. Additionally, Dallas Fed President Lori Logan said that the housing market is likely bottomed out and a move higher in home prices is an upside risk to inflation. Well, hello, Lori. We've been talking about this for months now. I'm glad you finally caught on. Unbelievable.
Such an idiot.
Is it a requirement to work for the Fed to be an idiot? I'm just wondering. Is that part of it? ADP, they came out with their employment report this morning. People haven't been paying a lot of attention to it until it shows these numbers. 497,000 job creations. Again, the economists figured it was going to be 225,000. Last month's figure was 278,000. Revised lower to 267,000. Good sectors added 124,000 jobs, led by construction, which added 97,000. Response to builders feeling more confident starting to build more homes. Why? Because there's no other homes available. You want to buy a home, you're going to have to buy a new one because resales are not coming on the market. Manufacturing, which has been a weak point in the economy, lost 42,000 jobs. Service sector added 373,000 jobs, led by leisure and hospitality, which added 232,000 jobs. Again, we've talked about this before. Those gains may be coming to an end soon in April of 2019. There were 16.2 million employees in the sector, and with today's report, there are 16.7 million. I wonder how many of those are on strike in Los Angeles right now. That's a different story. ADP also reported that annual pay for people that stayed on the job increased by 6.4% year over year, down from 6.6%. Let's subtract inflation and see, are we still negative? Oh, yeah, we are. So still going the wrong direction, Mr. President, but he'll tell us everything's all good. Job changers saw an average increase of 11.2%, down from 12.1% in the previous report, and 13.2% in the one before that. These figures are still high. They've been moderating and showing lower wage pressure inflation. Wages have now moderated for 12 months in a row. That's fancy speak for gone down. Nella Richardson from ADP, who seemed to be surprised by the reading, said, quote, consumer-facing service industries had a strong June, aligning to push job creation higher than expected. But wage growth continues to ebb in these same industries, and hiring likely is cresting after a late cycle surge, unquote. Initial jobless claims, we told you this was going to increase because maybe some people didn't report or didn't file on Juneteenth. Maybe the offices were closed. So we did see that we have initial claims are up this week. Leading the way again for jobless claims, California lost 45,000 jobs. I wonder what the governor will say about that one. Mortgage bankers' applications came out as well. God, there's a lot of stuff going on today. Purchases fell by 4% after rising the 3 previous weeks. They're now down 22% year over year. Interest rates, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association, increased from 6.75 to 6 7/8. This is, again, last week's data. I already told you what current data is. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make a call, 800-306-1990, 1990. Let's learn about some real estate, maybe the idea of education. And I know in the marketplace where we're at with such minimal amount of inventory, a lot of people are giving up on some of the inalienable rights. Well, maybe they're not inalienable rights. They're things you should be doing, and it's called due diligence. So that's a home appraisal, a home inspection, a hazard reports. These are all due diligence. Do you have to act on them? No. But you have to understand them. Yes. Why would you want to go and buy something? It'd be like going and buying a car and not doing anything, a used car, and not knowing that it just came from Louisiana or Florida where it had been in a flood, but they repainted it so it looked good outside. Wouldn't you want a CarMax report to know that, this car may not run for very much longer? Well, home inspections, they might not be like a CarMax report, and they educate you. They tell you what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent, and then there's people like me who have no clue what they're looking at. Oh, those walls look like they're white, but they're hiding flooding behind them. Jeff Clark is with us. Trident Inspection Group is the name of his company. He's going to be the one that gives us that education. Welcome.
Thank you, Ron. Good to be here.
So tell me, how'd you get into this inspection world? You probably went to school for 50 years and got 17 licenses and...
Well, Ron, basically, my motivation for getting into it was I wanted to own a business, right? And I knew I couldn't be on the ladder for my whole life, right? Father time is undefeated.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, how could I take my previous experience and apply it and start my own business? So that was the inception.
What was your previous experience?
Commercial framing, drywall, steel stud framing, tilt-ups, commercial construction.
So were you a contractor or did
No.
you on the front line?
Front line.
Front line. So you were the one that actually did the work.
I did. And I knew I couldn't do it forever.
That sounds like hard work too.
It was hard work.
Especially, were you in Southern California at the time?
Yes.
So at least you didn't have to work in snow or
in Vegas.
Or in Vegas, Josh, where it's like 150 degrees out right now. Right. And you get both. So in February you might get snow, and in summer you get 150 degrees.
It's just pleasant all year round.
Yeah, this is Southern California. Okay, so let's. So how long have you been doing this then?
Well, Trident is a hybrid from Maven Home Inspection. That was the first company I started. That was probably about 10 years ago. And then Trident has been around because I wanted to start to go into commercial and offer ancillary services like mold and chimney inspections and et cetera. So we started Trident Inspection Group. So that's been going for 4 years now.
So you do all that stuff?
Yes, all that stuff.
So you do mold, chimney, home inspection?
Correct. Commercial and residential.
Commercial. Interesting. I didn't even know that commercial did that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's part of their due diligence process. We just did a couple of big projects last week in City of Orange, which is a 32,000 square foot property. And then Thursday we did a 19,000 square foot property.
So do you focus mostly on commercial or residential or whatever comes up?
Primarily residential.
Okay.
With the commercial capabilities, I guess.
So how do you, when you do go do an inspection, I'm probably getting a little ahead of our conversation, but how do you deliver findings?
So the summary review is what you're talking about? Okay.
Is there a summary review? So is there a detailed review and a summary review, or is it
during the process of the inspection, we go around and what I tell my guys is just begin where your feet's at and follow your routine. As you're following your routine, you're starting to inventory and compile all of the information. And so when you go to deliver that at the end with the client, you're going to want to put context to all of your findings. You're going to, depending on which system you're talking about, you're going to want to just talk about where the system's at currently and how.
Now, when you talk about a system, is that an air conditioning system, or is that what is a system? You got to remember, I don't even know how to use a screwdriver.
Copy that. What we're talking about right now would be like, let's say, for example, the HVAC system.
Okay, the air conditioner.
Right. So you have your furnace, whether it
Right.
be in the hallway or the attic, and then you have your air conditioner, which is outside and attached to what they call the air handler. So you're going to want to get an idea of what with the year that was made, what the condition is of it, and how it's operating at the time of the inspection. And so when you're talking about these types of things, you're just really wanting to educate them on where the system's at, or where it's at in its life cycle, and what they could expect it. But more importantly, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to document how it's operating at that time. So that way the inspection report becomes like a document so that way it dovetails nicely in with home warranty. Okay.
So this kind of leads us to the home warranty, so that they can say, okay, well, these things all worked when I bought the house and they don't work now. Correct. So if there is a home warranty, then there's something to substantiate that it went bad during that term.
Right. And what Trident has done is we put really plain language in there, because home warranty they're a service contract, right? So what they're going to say is, possibly pre-existing condition or whatever the case may be. So they're going to want plain language in there that the unit was working, whether it be the refrigerator, the oven, the garbage disposal, the heating and air conditioning, or whatever system we're talking about. Was the unit working at time of inspection? Very binary, yes or no. And then we also take that one step further and show measurements or infrared or temperature readings to just support that there was working. So that way, if anything should go wrong during that period, the homeowner could reference submit the inspection report, so that way they have proof.
So for somebody like me, I would call that just like a baseline report.
Correct.
When I bought the house, this is what it did. The air conditioner was blowing at 55 degrees or whatever it's supposed to, and now it's blowing at 97 degrees, and it's not cooling my house down. Right. And again, Jeff, I don't understand all this stuff.
No, that's exactly what we say.
I'm really technical. It's hot.
It's hot.
Damn hot.
That's all they really want to know.
Right.
Is it working?
Is it working? You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. We're going to continue our conversation with Jeff Clark when we come back, learning about home inspection, why you need it, why you should not negotiate out of it. We're going to talk about that. Today's housing inventory is a sweet spot for sellers, and I might talk too much, so we might not get to how to rate, shop, and minimize the impact of your FICO scores. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, shame on you. But the replay is available. Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at RonSiegelRadio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis. rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Great website, not just because we sponsor it for you. It's totally free to you, but it tells you, it helps you monitor your FICO, your credit scores, bank accounts, asset accounts, the value of your property, 4 different valuations from different models. 3 of them are good. We give you Zillow also, even though we know you're going to go there. It's not going to be the most accurate. And then we're going to also tell you about 97% of the properties across the United States are all showing right there, rsrmoney.com. Today's housing inventory is a sweet spot for sellers. One of the biggest challenges in the housing market right now is how few homes there are for sale compared to the number of people who want to buy them. To help emphasize just how limited housing inventory still is, let's take a look at the latest information on active listings or homes for sale in a given month as it compares to more normal levels. According to a recent report from Realtor.com, quote, on average, active inventory in June was 50.6% below pre-pandemic 2017 to 2019 levels, unquote. Ow! If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, we are showing you a chart right now, the supply of homes for sale and what those numbers look like for the year 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2023. We left the unicorns out, 2020, 2021, 2022. Those numbers are anomalies. So you can look at the other numbers right there. And if you're watching us again, the orange numbers, you can see they're half of what the other years were, all of them. It's worth noting 2020 through 2022, again, are not in the graph because they truly were abnormal years for the housing market. Using those would probably not be fair of any kind of comparison. When you compare the orange bars for 2023 with the last normal years for the housing market, again, 2017, 2019, you can see the count of active listings is still far below the norm. What does this mean for you? If you're thinking about selling your house, that low inventory is why this is a great time to do so. Buyers have fewer choices now than they did in more normal years, and that's continued to impact some key statistics in the housing market. For example, sellers will be happy to see the following data from the latest confidence index from the National Association of Realtors, NAR. The percentage of homes that sold in less than a month ticked up slightly to 74%. Median days on the market went down to 18 days, showing homes are still selling fast when priced right. Average number of offers on recently sold homes went up to 3.3 offers. Bottom line, when supply is so low, your house is going to be the spotlight. That's why sellers are seeing their homes sell a little faster and get more offers right now. If you thought about selling, now's the time to make a move. And we are going to be coming out with a report and a full workshop because I know what you're thinking. Ron, why would I possibly give up my 3% mortgage to sell my house now and get a 7% mortgage? Well, the answer is simple. Credit card debt, student loan debt. Isn't it amazing that there's 41 million people in America that have student loan debt, and there's 160 million workers? If my math is correct, That's like 1 out of 4, 1 out of 3 people in America have student loan debt. What if you consolidated your credit card debt, your auto debt, your student loan debt, and used up a little bit of your equity that you've got over the last couple of years, bring all your numbers down, bring your payments down. Now you've still got money to go buy the new house with a smaller down payment, but regardless of what the interest looks like, the cost, the number of Benjamins coming out of your pocket at the end of the month is less than it would be today, and you still get the newer house that you want. We're going to put that into a workshop and show you exactly how that works. That's the real-time real estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Continue our conversation this morning. We are talking to Jeff Clark, Trident Inspection Group, and we're learning about home inspections, and I'm going to share with you, part of this goes back to the report I just said. What are people doing in order to win bids right now? Well, I'm going to waive my inspection. I'm going to waive my appraisal. I'm going to waive my NHD. I'm going to waive everything. So I'm going to buy something sight unseen, not knowing what the heck I'm talking about. And if you're like me, is the air conditioner working? I don't know. There's air coming out of it. Is the heater working? Well, it's too damn hot for me to even tell. It's 90 degrees outside. So I don't know if the heater's working. Is it working properly? Stuff went down the garbage disposal. I didn't bring a bunch of orange peels with me to see if it's worked. That's why you talk to someone like Jeff and his team. Get it done, whether you use it or not. Education doesn't hurt. Bottom line. So we're going to continue our conversation. So one of the things that I'm baffled by is in the inspection world, especially in the state of confusion, like California, there's no licensing requirement to be an inspector?
There's not, Ron, right? It is, it's not required. There've been a couple of efforts to bring licensing or regulation into the industry, but as of right now, there is the only thing you really need, which is the most frightening part, is a flashlight and a 3-prong tester, and there's your inspector. So
I don't even know what a 3-prong tester is.
that's what you stuck into the the
okay.
outlets, right? To test the GFI to make sure there's current there.
Okay.
So that's all that's needed, right? So it is really a buyer beware type of a situation in whom you're dealing with.
How do I know whether I found a good one or not?
Well, there's a few different ways. You want to obviously speak to your realtor, see who they're using. That would be one avenue.
They should know.
We would hope.
Right.
And then you would check to the references on, whether it be Yelp or Google or one of the other for reviews.
Okay.
And then when you speak to them, you want to ask them, who are you certified through, or talk to them about their education and who are they certified through.
So there is a certification process that one could do that is just not regulated by the state.
Correct.
So what would I look for? What's the certification going to say?
Well, they're going to either have one of probably about 3, right? You have the National Association of Certified Home Inspectors. You have CREA, which is California Real Estate Inspectors Association. And then you have the American Society of Home Inspectors. That's ASHI. So those are the 3 largest bodies of.
Would a company be certified by all of them, or would they be one, or does it matter?
Well, it's just at that point, it's just a preference, right? It's just a preference. Trident we are certified through the California Association of Realtors, and then we're also certified through INTRNACHI, National Association of Certified Home Inspectors, of which I'm the chapter president in Orange County of. Okay. So it really comes down to the skill sets of each individual inspector as well. I'd say that'd be more important.
So are inspection companies generally a one-man show, or are there multiple inspectors within a company?
Typically, there are a couple of larger companies out there, but your traditional home inspection company is going to be anywhere from, let's say, 1 to 5 inspectors.
And is there a way? Are they going to all have the same training? Are they undergoing, or is it? If I call XYZ Acme Inspections, I don't even know if there is one.
Right. Well, when you call Trident, what we require to be part of the Trident team is to maintain 24 hours of ongoing education, plus all of the company provided seminars that we go throughout the year.
So it's like continuing education.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially with the way that homes are developing now and the new construction practices that are taking place. It's very important that you keep your annual education up.
So one of the things I always like to ask, for, especially from the inspectors, is once you go through and do all of the inspection work and you come up with your report, do you do if there's repairs needed, do you guys do the repairs also?
We do not. That would be a conflict of interest, right? So what we do is we basically will just provide the information, and then if needed, I have given referrals out, to the agent or to the client on what kind of licensed contractor would be able to, like, for example, the other day I came across an inspection in the city of Carson and did a sewer inspection on that property, and we found a couple large root intrusions on there. So this was another property.
What's a root intrusion?
A root intrusion is where,
remember, I don't know anything here,
I
Jeff.
get it. So when you have your lateral sewer line, one of the materials used is clay, and the connections there will kind of deteriorate. So root seeking water will come into that connection and migrate in there and create a potential blockage that wouldn't even really be detectable during a normal home inspection, right? Because water will pass through the roots, right? It's not until the buyer actually takes possession and we're using just things are going down the sewer. We all know
things that are going down the sewer that are really fun to talk about.
Correct.
Okay.
So debris, as I say.
Debris. There we
So
go.
after they take possession, then things start to block up and they get a thing usually about 3 weeks after they take possession of the home. So anyways, we found that root intrusion and we're able to make the appropriate referral to the plumber to address that situation.
And once you got that problem, yeah, don't go there. Okay, so now there's the issue. So that's like an easy one, right? Because I mean, you know that it's not the fact of finding it, because I wouldn't even know about even looking for it, but saying, okay, you got a plumbing problem, you got to call a plumber,
right?
But there's I'm sure there's a lot of things where we don't even know who the right party is to call.
Those are typically revolve around like foundation issues,
right?
That those types of issues. The other last week we were in the city of Orange, and we were doing it near Old Town, and they had a perimeter wall, which is what actually the house sets on, right, on the raised foundation.
Sure.
And that had deteriorated to such an extent that it was imperative that they have that repaired. So before I left there, I had already contacted a repair specialist, a foundation specialist, so that way I could put them two together, at least to give them some solution. Whether they go that route or not, I'm not sure.
So the idea here then again still becomes the same situation, is you want to make sure that they're understanding what their risk is.
Correct.
Right? It's not, I'm assuming it's not your job to say buy it or don't buy it.
Right.
It's basically say, here's the issue, buyer beware, at least now you know.
Right.
And you can call this company that you're recommending or not, and say, okay, well, this is going to cost me X amount of dollars. Now, is the property or is the transaction still something that I want to move forward with in an educated manner?
Correct. Typically, what the feedback that I receive is that exactly for that one that I just used, the foundation issue in the city of Orange, what they were really looking for is, in today's market, people are paying a premium for properties. Right?
Sure, absolutely.
Like you mentioned, they're waiving inspections, they're waiving appraisals, they're waiving loans, all of that. So really what they're doing is at this time that they want to inventory that property from head to toe and be able to find out, what am I actually getting, and what is my risk once I take possession of this property, right? Because once they understand what they're going into, because I was telling this gentleman what was going on and he was familiar with it, so he wasn't that shocked by it, but what he wanted to know is, what's it going to take to fix this?
Sure, that makes sense. We're going to continue our conversation with Jeff Clark when we come back. Trident Inspection Group. We're going to find out how Trident is different from others, and we might even be able to get story time with Jeff when we come back. You can reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket. So stop renting. Start owning with Ron Siegel. Learn more at ronsiegelradio.com and start owning today. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Once again, I talk too much, so we're not going to get our Your Credit Matters segment in, but I will tell you, make sure and get registered, rsrstudentloanhelp.com, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. Whether you want to or not, student loan payments are going to be resuming. Just helped somebody that was a military man. 25 years of service, we thanked him, and then found a way that he wouldn't have to pay, that his student loan payments were all taken care of for him. So got to know the right questions to ask, right people to talk to, rsrstudentloanhelp.com. Continue our conversation this morning. Jeff Clark is with us, Trident Inspection Group. We're going to see how much more we can get in here and learning from Jeff today. So, Jeff, I want to find out, when we do a home inspection, what are, as a consumer, what's my takeaways going to be?
Well, Ron, at the end of every inspection, we want to take the time. Let me just back up a little bit. They always ask me, what's the most consistent thing I see at a home inspection?
Right.
Everybody wants to know what's the most consistent thing. And that is a stressed out buyer.
That makes sense.
So really what we want to do from the moment we show up is we want to align with them, find out and bring them into the conversation, see what's important to them. So that way we're just lowering that anxiety, because we really want them to.
It's a scary time.
It is a very scary time.
Spending $500,000 or $1 million. I mean, it's worrisome.
It is.
Right? I mean,
it is.
And we don't do it all the time. You're out there inspecting houses all day, every day.
All day, every day.
And, I'm helping folks in financing. I do a little radio here and there. But the consumer's buying a house every 10, 12 years now.
Correct. So really what I tell the philosophy that I keep, this may be my 1,000th inspection, but this is their first home. So I have to bring that same energy each time that I show up on site. So when we go over at the end of we invite them into the space if they want. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But at the end, what we want to do is just do a walk and talk and let them know that our standard is really perfection. And then we make adjustments on that, because that way we want them to understand that we're there to find defects.
Sure.
Right. We're there that's our job.
Right.
So we want to put this in context so that way they understand. And when they're looking at the report, they don't freak out or say, oh my God, this house is falling apart. So what we do is we do the main takeaways. Right. And then from there, we walk around the property, whether it be deteriorated wood, or if they have an older furnace, or if their water heaters knock in, or whatever the case may be.
Sure.
We want to have them put eyes on it and then have a discussion about it. So that way we want to put the light, sunlight's a good sanitizer, right?
Sure.
So we want to have them interact with whatever it is, explain to them how it may have gotten there, put some context to it. So that way it starts to make sense to them, and then pivot right into solution.
Okay, so am I going to get a report of some sort, or documentation to walk away, or do I have to take notes when we're going through all this?
No, I'd say all inspection companies are going to have the ability to generate a digital report that'll be able to print to PDF. So our report's going to have the full report, which is going to have valuable information on there, such as like data plates, and that's where the model number and serial numbers are, and the age that it was built, and things like that for water heaters, and again furnaces and air conditioning.
Oh, okay. So it's going to tell me when they're built, so I can get an idea. Yeah, I got a 40-year-old water heater, so I might be thinking about buying a new one
real soon. So it's going to have that type of information. What type of roof do they have? Is it tile, composition, shingle, et cetera? It also has information that they may need at a future date for purposes like insurance or whatever the case is. So, and then also we include a summary report, which basically pulls out the major items there. So that way it's at a glance. And a lot of the agents use that to build their request for repairs.
So it's going to tell me basically the things. Hey, these are for, again, somebody like me that knows nothing about construction or how these things work. It's going to say, hey, big red flag. Hey, watch out for this.
Correct. Our report, the way that we generate our report is we, make maintenance recommendations in there, and those items are under blue under maintenance recommendations, right? And then orange are maybe for material defect or something that's wrong that needs to be attention that may be a little bit outside of a do-it-yourself category. And then we have health and safety, which those are clearly flagged as red.
Okay. So now the health and safety that you come up with are probably going to be very similar to what the appraiser might find.
Correct.
Because they're health and safety issues that can inhibit a loan of some sort.
Right. And that's one of the things that we do if we're showing up before the appraisal.
Tony likes your reports. I mean, she must know you or something. Jeffrey's reports are great, she says.
Yeah. We try to make them pretty user friendly. If we get there before the appraisal or just in general period, we want to make sure that the water heater's strapped up and it has all of these smoke detectors and carbons in the appropriate locations. And so
that's always good. So the appraiser doesn't have to come back again.
Correct.
Save a little money there.
Correct.
Do you do one of the things I've talked about many times is almost like, you get a certified pre-owned car. So is there something that's done like an appraisal that's done before, that a seller might do just so that the seller knows what's going on?
That's a great question. And that was, I've really been pushing for that type of awareness, especially in today's market. I really encourage those who are thinking about selling to have that pre-listing inspection done. So that way they can get ahead of any major, that way you have a smoother transaction. You are able to not be so reactive if you do need to correct something during contingency periods or during the contract part.
Sure.
So it just really behooves somebody if they think that property has some issues in it, or maybe it's an investment property they haven't owned in a while, it's a good way to get ahead of any potential issues and show good faith and due diligence on their part.
Well, the other thing that I would look at is I like what your thought there, the due diligence up front. And again, if you got a probate, that might be a good idea because you haven't lived there. But the other part of it is that if I'm selling my property and I have you do an inspection and I know that you do quality work, you come highly recommended, the buyer's inspector may come around and not do as much quality work. And now they come up and they say, well, this needs to be repaired. It's a red flag. And you said, well, no, it wasn't when I did it. And now I've kind of like, I'm not using my wife's divorce attorney, right? I've got my own individual looking at it.
That's fair. You always, if there is an inspection that's done, a pre-listing inspection, or maybe one falls out of escrow and they present an inspection for you, you just want to take a look at it and while you're walking around the property, just to kind of get your own sense of it. And
sure.
If you don't know, then reach out to an inspection company. You could call us. We'd be happy to help. Just reach out to them and have a discussion about the findings in the report, because you could tell if it's,
I got about 30 seconds for you.
Copy that.
One of your favorite stories that you've come across.
Put me on the spot here, Ron.
Always got to put you on the spot a little bit.
I get it. I love it. The thing, I'll just share this with you. The thing that I love most about what we do is we play a small part in a life story. Right. And I really want to draw people's attention to that is we show up at a life story, whether they're going up, coming down, increasing family size, whatever the case may be, we're on that radar, and it's our job to give them our best because they're depending upon us.
I love that. That's a great way of us closing out, because really that's been the mission of Ron Siegel Radio since we started in 2010, is to educate you as to what's going on in the marketplace. Even if you've waived your contingencies, be educated. If you got a great real estate professional, which you should if you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, there's always ways to get out of a contract if you need to. And the idea here is don't get surprised a month in because you spent a lot of money to buy a house. And I don't care whether it's a $200,000 mobile home or a $2 million house or condo or a $3 or $4 million house on the beach. It's your castle. And what's really important there is that you go into it. It's a stressful time. Buying a house is stressful. And it doesn't matter to me how often you've done it. I've been around thousands of transactions. There's stress involved. If we can be educated, that removes some of the stress because now you're going in there knowing what you're talking about. If you want to get in touch with Jeff Clark, Trident Inspection Group, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Be happy to put you in touch. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
And over by a minute, my boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him something,